had a one-on-one conversation with Austin's father.
Well, it started with a call from a football coach who was not at the track meet and said, I think Austin has been stabbed. And I said, where at? And he said, Kukendall Stadium. And I said, I'm on my way. So I drove up there, went through a load of police officers, and was able to see my son on the gurney with a huge hole and blood all over him, and they were pumping him. He wasn't breathing, and his eyes were rolled back in his head. So I had to find his brother. They're twins. And so I found Hunter and tried to get him under control as best we could. And then I loaded him up in my car, and we drove to the hospital as quickly as possible. And we waited. And when the doctors came in and said that he didn't make it, it was tough. My son took it extremely hard. I'm still in shock, to be honest. I mean, I'm numb. So it really hasn't hit me. You know, I don't believe any parent should ever have to bury their child. And I pray that, you know, maybe there's changes made as far as security or things like that. And maybe we can learn from this and try to turn a tragedy into something positive to make sure it doesn't happen to anyone else's child. I don't want parents to feel like I feel today. So I've already forgiven the person who stabbed him. God's going to take care of everything. God's taking care of my son. I kissed him. When I kissed him goodbye for the last time, I told him it's not goodbye, it's see you later. So I just have to trust in God and my faith to pull us through. I don't understand his plan. We're all subject to trial and tribulations. God didn't say life was going to be fair or wasn't going to be hard, but he said he'll always be beside you and never leave your side.
Into custody. They know who did this. They are charging him with murder. I mean, how does that make you feel that police immediately got this person?
First of all, I feel sorry for that individual because he's now made a mistake that's going to cost him the rest of his life. The hard part that cost me is I lost my son, and his brother was holding him, trying to hold the blood in, and he passed. My son watched his brother die in his arms.
And when the arresting officer said he had the alleged suspect in custody, Anthony replied, "I'm not alleged. I did it."
But Anthony told officers he only acted in self-defense and asked them if Metcalf was okay.
Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity, so I'm watching everything going on around it, because I'm there for my children. So, dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry, you feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and whatever. They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, the dude that got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. He had it's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bruh. It wasn't a school track meet.
Before I knew his name now, this kid was sitting under our tent at track. We asked him to move. He started getting aggressive and talking reckless. And my brother stepped in and said, "You need to move." He's like, "Make me move." Also grabbed his backpack. This kid, I tried to whip around as fast as I could, but I didn't see the stab. But then I look at my brother, and then I'm not going to talk about the rest. So just that's what I saw.
Winds up stabbing my son in the heart and killing him. It's unfortunate, but he's gonna have to answer to those consequences. They have no contact with this person ever before. I can tell you what happened. I know firsthand. I wasn't there, but I talked to my son.
Yeah, what is
and everything. I know exactly how it all transpired. It was multi-FRISCO high school track meet. Many high schools were there. It started to rain, and they have their own little tent for memorial, and they were sitting there. And someone was behind him mouthing off, and he turned around and said, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Mello." He said, "Well, you don't belong here. You don't go to memorial." He had a Centennial tracksuit on. And he said, "You need to leave. This ain't your spot." And some words were discussed. I'm not going to say on camera but he asked him to leave and basically said, "Make me." And then he wound up stabbing him in the heart and killing him.